Exodus. Does anybody know what that reading sets up? Moses goes up the mountain. You can see Charlton Heston in the movie getting what? Three tablets. That's the other movie. Charlton Heston's not in that one, I don't think. Yeah, it's all right. The 10 Commandments, right? That's what Charlton Heston goes up to get directly from God. Well, I want you to pull out your hymnal. It's the red. They're both red. One's kind of more maroon than the other. They call it cranberry. It's cranberry. You will turn to page 1160, setting up the 10 Commandments. And in the back of our hymnal, we have a handy little Reader's Digest version amended by none other than Martin Luther. He is kind of the one the Lutherans look to give us some pretty good information on how to think about being a Jesus follower. So Martin Luther was revolutionary in his day. I don't know how much you know about Martin Luther, but he believed strongly that everyone deserved the right to an education. Women, men, everybody. And in that day and age, does anybody know what kind of a political system was in place in Germany at that time? In the back. A feudal system. So most likely, the vast majority of people in a feudal system were what? Illiterate. And did they own stuff? No. Peasants or slaves. You worked for somebody else's benefit your whole life, and then you died. I mean, it's really not much hope in that kind of a system. And Martin Luther shows up in that feudal society and says everyone has the right to an education, to be able to learn and to read and write. Do you know why he was so passionate about that? It was for another book that's also in front of you, the Bible. The Bible was in Latin. That was usually only the priest in the village had a copy of that. And Martin Luther thought it was vitally important that each and every person know for themselves, could read it for themselves in their own book, that God knew them and loved them. He wanted them to have access to that information. And so because of that, education was huge for him. That girls, boys, whoever could have access to the knowledge that God loved them intimately. Isn't that amazing? Mind-blowing, system-blowing. I mean, still to this day we struggle with this, right? That everyone should have equal access to education to be able to learn, to read and write. Amazing. So, the way that Martin Luther did this was he enlisted the help of parents. He printed out charts. That's what you're looking at on page 1160, are some of the posters that he had printed for families to hang in their homes so that parents could teach their children about the faith. This one that we're looking at is about the 10 Commandments. So the first commandment is, somebody read it for me.
You shall have no other gods.
You shall have no other gods. Now, anybody who has children or who has been around children knows that they ask a lot of questions. And as a parent, I know that sometimes I feel like I just plain don't have the answers. Right? Martin Luther also had children, and he knew they asked a lot of questions. So, after every commandment, Martin Luther has provided the answer to one of children's favorite questions. What is that? What is that, Dad? In German, was ist das? That's how it's literally translated. You shall have no other gods. Was ist das? What is this? What does this mean? We are to fear, love, and trust God above all things. The second commandment, you shall not make wrongful use of the name of the Lord your God. Was ist das? We are to fear and love God so that we do not curse, swear, practice magic, lie, or deceive using God's name, but instead use that very name, the name of God, in every time of need. To call on, to pray to, praise, and give thanks to the name of God. The third commandment, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Was ist das? We are to fear and love God so that we do not despise the preaching or God's word, but instead keep that word holy and gladly hear and learn it. So the first three commandments that God gives Charlton Heston on the mountain are commandments about our relationship with God, our love of God. The rest of the commandments, anybody know who they relate to? Our relationship with who? Each other, our neighbors, other people. This way. My favorite one, the one I think is hardest, well, they're all hard. Number 8, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. What does this mean? We are to fear and love God so that we do not tell lies about our neighbors, betray or slander them, or destroy their reputations. Instead, we are to come to their defense, speak well of them, and interpret, this is the kicker, interpret everything they do in the best possible light. Easy peasy, right? No big deal. Even my neighbor with the barking dog at 3 a.m., that guy, I have to interpret that in the best possible light. Yeah. So the 10 Commandments, I don't know if you know this, are only a few of the laws in the Old Testament. Does anybody know how many laws are held by the Jewish community from the Old Testament? Anyone have a guess? Big numbers. You don't count. Anybody? 613 laws. You think the first 10 are bad? Right? It's a lot to keep track of. It's a lot. It weighs you down. Today, since we no longer have a temple, since there are all kinds of things that are no longer just quite the same, there are really only 300 plus that still are able to be followed. Even 300 is overwhelming to me. I mean, I can't even comprehend all of those rules, you know? I mean, I think, why God put rules and boundaries in place in the first place, right? Why do we have rules and boundaries with one another? Why do you think? Anyone have a guess? Why are some rules good? It helps us live well together, right? It helps us live abundantly. To know it's not a good thing to kill people. It doesn't go well for anyone, really. Not even for you. I mean, the remorse that has to come from that, I can't imagine what it's like, you know? There are rules for a good reason because God loves us. And God wants us to live a full, abundant life with each other well, right? But at some point, it gets a little difficult. The weight of all of those expectations can be hard. I invite you to get out another book. We're going to do some book juggling today. The other book I'd like you to get out is the Bible, and we're going to turn to page 804. We're looking in the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 34 to 40. This is our gospel lesson for the day. And I think this guy that we're going to hear from felt the weight of the law. Starting at verse 34, when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. And one of them, who was a lawyer, asked Jesus a question to test him. Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? This lawyer said to Jesus, Teacher, all of this is overwhelming to me. I need you to give me one thing that I can do. Jesus responds, verse 37, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all of the law and all of the prophets. Wow. This lawyer comes before Jesus and says, it's just too much. I need one thing. And Jesus gives him two. Right? In verse 37, who is the first person that Jesus refers to? Who is it? God. Right? And the first verb in that verse 37? Love. Love God. Now, I don't know about you, but for me to really love someone, I need to know them, right? I need to know who they are. And for me, if it's true love, I have to know that they have love and care and concern for me, right? That's the best kind of love. When it's reciprocated. When you know that person loves you and cares for you and wants what's best for you. That's the best kind of love, right? To really know someone, to really love someone, you have to know them. And they have to love you and know you. This in 38, the second person or group of people love others, right? This is, again, where it starts to get a little overwhelming, right? You'd think Jesus only gave him two. It should be easy, right? This is the Monopoly get out of jail free card. Oh, I only have two. I don't have to worry about the 600. I can just do two. And yet, for me, knowing God loves me, everything about me, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, God knows and loves it all. Forgives me and calls me to something greater than myself. That's hard enough to believe and understand and trust and try and live into. Now I got to talk to other people? Wow. To know that God's love for me is the same as God's love for my neighbor with the barking dog, right? That God knows him and loves him deeply and cares for him and wants what's best for him. And because I love God and God loves me and I know God loves him, that means, well, now I got to care about that guy. It's a lot of work. It can be overwhelming. To bear the weight of that kind of responsibility can be difficult at times, right? But sometimes there are little things that make the impossible seem possible. Little things that can lift a burden, that can carry a load. I don't know if you noticed something odd on the way in. And anybody see a door out in the narthex out there and think, what is that about? Who put that there? It was me. It's there on purpose. I don't know if you tried to move it. Gloria did. It's pretty heavy. Chris knows that because he brought it down from the garage attic yesterday. Thank you, dear. To bring here today. Doors can be really heavy. When I was in Philadelphia, I worked at a church that was built in 1880, a stone Gothic church. And I don't know if you've ever been in a church like this, but they have amazing doors. They're huge. I can't imagine how much they weigh to have a solid wood door. I mean, you can't even get solid wood doors like that anymore. This thing was like 4 inches thick, solid hardwood, beautiful arched door, the whole thing. Any door, generally, if it's working right, just swings freely, right? All the weight of that door. And yet it opens just with a push. It's amazing to me, right? Can you imagine having to lift a door like that out of the way so you can go outside every time you need to come in and out? I couldn't even lift it once, let alone 10 times a day. It's crazy. Anybody know what makes those doors, those heavy, heavy doors, work so well? A hinge, right? A simple hinge. You have one plate that you screw to the door, and you have one plate that you screw to the wall or the door jamb or whatever is going to hold the door up, right? A simple hinge. And there's one thing that holds it all together. Anybody know what that is? Huh? A pin? Yep. Put that pin right down in between those things, and it holds it all together, and those 2 pieces, I mean, you might need a little WD-40 here and there, but it swings freely, right? All the weight of that big, heavy door hangs on that one little pin. It's a fascinating piece of simple machinery, right? They started making hinges as soon as they had metal to work with. Can you imagine that? Archaeologically, they have found evidence of hinges all the way back as far as they have archaeological evidence of metal. That's mind-blowing to me. You know, why didn't Jesus have a hinge on the tomb? No, they had to roll that big stone away. I don't know. The hinges have been around for a long, long time. All the weight of that door is held on that one pin. Sometimes it's little things that make the impossible seem possible. If you're following my analogy, anyone want to guess what that one little pin is? Love. Love. God's love for us is what makes this whole thing swing freely. It's what's inside of us. It's what's been given to us. This awe-inspiring God that created the universe, that knows the stars by their names, knows me and loves me, knows every hair on my head. I can't even count the hairs that fall out of my head. And yet God knows me that deeply and loves me. It's the littlest things that make the weight of the heavy, impossible things seem possible to bear. It's because of that love that God has for us that we can go to our neighbor with the barking dog and get to know them. Learn that they work second shift, and that's when they get home. You know? That's where that love comes from. It's not something we can do on our own. We can't carry that weight on our own. We come together as community and carry it with one another to lighten each other's loads. That's why I come to this place, to see your bright, shining faces, to get hugs and high fives and handshakes, to say, how you doing? It's good to see you. But you don't have to come to this place. Not everyone comes to this place, right? God gives us this love that we can share wherever we are to lighten everyone's load. We're not the only ones that carry burdens, right? We're not the only ones that have big, heavy doors. God's love is what enables us to move those burdens with ease, to help one another, to reach out. You have been given that same task, that same calling, to go out into this world and to share that light and that love, to ease people's heavy burdens, to lighten their load. And it just takes a little bit of love, right? A little bit of care. That's what makes it all possible. My prayer this week for you is that your load has been lightened, that you feel the love of God that is for you and with you. And my prayer is that you will find someone this week and see their heavy burden, to know them, to get to know them, to love them, and to help them to know that their load can be shared. That God loves them, who they are, where they are, and to give them that gift of lightening their load. In the name of Jesus, amen.